Hey, what's up guys? Hardleg Joe here with what a deck profile for the Ultimate Falcon Stun deck. I'm just going to go through everything in here, and then I'll explain how it works. So for monsters, we have 3 Tribute Lanius, 3 Vanishing Lanius, 3 Mimicry Lanius, 3 Fuzzy Lanius, 3 Booster Strix, 3 Pain Lanius, and 3 Last Strix. For our spells, we're playing 3 Allure of Darkness, 3 Rank Up Magic Skip Force, 3 Cattle Call, 2 Swallow's Nest, 3 RaidRaptor's Nest, 2 Raptor's Ultimate Mace, and for our traps, 3 Icarus Attack. The side deck is 2 number 77 the 7 Sins, 3 RaidRaptor Ultimate Falcon, 2 RaidRaptor Satellite Cannon Falcon, 1 Revolution Falcon, 1 Castell the Skyblasting Musketeer, 1 Gaga Cowboy, 3 RaidRaptor Force Strix, 1 Rise Falcon, and 1 number F0 Utopic Future. The side deck I'll go over in a moment. So the point of this deck is mostly to get out RaidRaptor Ultimate Falcon. This is probably one of the best boss monsters in the game. It is unaffected by all other card effects, which means the only way to get rid of it is to either destroy it by battle, which is not an easy task given its 3500 attack, or you can tribute over it with something like a Kaiju or Ra Sphere Mode or something like that. It also has the effect that you can detach 1 Ixie material from this card, and for the rest of this turn, all monsters your opponent controls lose 1000 attack, and they can't activate cards and effects. In addition to that, if it has a RaidRaptor equipped to it during the end phase, you can make all your opponent's monsters lose 1000 attack, and if your opponent controls no face-up monsters, you can inflict 1000 damage to them. It says to summon this with 3 level 10 Winged Beast monsters, which I don't think is even possible. We're mostly going to be summoning it with Rank Up Magic Skip Force. This is target a RaidRaptor Ixie monster you control, special summon from your extra deck 1 RaidRaptor that is 2 ranks higher than that target by using that target as Ixie's material, and of course all its material become attached as well. We're going to be using this on RaidRaptor Satellite Cannon Falcon. This is 2 level 8 Winged Beast type monsters, although, again, we're not going to be summoning it that way. We summon this in one of 2 ways. The main way is probably with this RaidRaptor Last Strix. This has several effects. The most important one, though, is that you can tribute it, your opponent takes no battle damage this turn, and you special summon 1 RaidRaptor Ixie monster from your extra deck in defense position, but its effects are negated, and return it to the extra deck during the end phase. So what you'll do is you'll use Last Strix, tribute it to get Satellite Cannon Falcon, and then use Skip Force on Satellite Cannon to turn it into Ultimate Falcon. Likewise, we're also playing Cattle Call. This will let you send 1 face-up monster you control to the graveyard whose original type is Beast, Beast Warrior, or more importantly, Winged Beast, and then summon from your extra deck 1 monster with the same original type. Yet again, it can't attack, its effects are negated, but that's not important. This allows you to turn any of your RaidRaptor monsters into a Satellite Cannon Falcon, which again can then be Rank Up Magicked into Ultimate Falcon. Now, Rank Up Magic also has the additional effect that during your main phase, except the turn this was sent to the graveyard, you can banish this card and a RaidRaptor from your graveyard to summon 1 Ixie monster from your graveyard. This is great because this means even if they use Utopia the Lightning to get over this, you can summon it out again next turn by banishing any other RaidRaptor from your graveyard. It won't have its material, so it won't be able to use its effect, but it'll still be unaffected by everything, and it'll have 3500. In addition, we're also playing number 77, the 7 Sins. You can Ixie summon this by using a rank 10 or 11 Dark Monster, which is the only way we Ixie summon it. Ultimate Falcon is a rank 10 Dark Monster, so if you have an Ultimate Falcon, you can just summon 7 Sins on top of it. Normally you don't want to get rid of your Ultimate Falcon that way, but if you don't have your Skip Force, you can use the same combos we talked about before, the Last Strix or the Cattle Call, to summon out an Ultimate Falcon with negated effects, and then immediately just stack a 7 Sins on top of it. This is not as good, but it does have 4000 attack, and if it would be destroyed, you can detach an Ixie material from it, so you can crash this into 4000 attack point monsters. It can survive being Raigeki'd once, so pretty good defense wall just in general. So these 2 are your 2 main boss monsters. They're what you're making 90% of the time. The rest of the deck is mostly just to either search out the pieces for this, or to deck thin rapidly, so that you can get to your pieces even quicker. I think the fastest way to explain how that works is just go down the line. So we'll just start with Tribute Lanius. It has 1800 attack, which is the highest of any of your main deck RaidRaptors. It also has the effect that during the turn it was normal or special summoned, you can send 1 RaidRaptor from your deck to your graveyard. Normally you're going to be sending Mimicry Lanius to the graveyard. This has the effect that you can banish it from the graveyard during the same turn it was sent there to search out any RaidRaptor card. That includes both your monsters as well as RaidRaptor nests, but not Raptor's Ultimate Mace because it's not a RaidRaptor card, it's a Raptor card. But I digress. This card is mostly in there just to be sent with Tribute Lanius. You can of course use it as a rank 4 Ixie material, but mostly it's just Tribute Lanius fodder. Vanishing Lanius, it's during the main phase. If this card was normal or special summoned, you can special summon a level 4 or lower RaidRaptor monster from your hand. This lets you make rank 4s using any of your other level 4 monsters, of which we have a lot, and the rank 4 you're going to be making most often is for Strix. This card gains 500 attack and defense for each winged beast monster you control other than this card, which is pretty good. If you can swarm, this can actually get up to a pretty decent, like 2200 attack and 4000 defense. More importantly, you can detach once per turn to add a dark level 4 winged beast monster from your deck to your hand, so any of your level 4 RaidRaptor monsters. Helping with that rank 4 engine is Fuzzy Lanius. If you control a RaidRaptor monster other than itself, you can special summon this from your hand, and if it's sent to the graveyard, you can add another copy of itself from your deck to your hand. Really good, because if you have this and any other level 4 monster, you've got an instant rank 4. The only downside is that if you use either of its effects, you can only special summon RaidRaptors for the rest of this turn. So you can't use this and then later on summon a 7 Sins or something. And you can't use this to make, like, Castell or any of your other level rank 4s. Rounding out the level 4s, we have Booster Strix. This is the only one that's not really helping you Ixie summon. This is, if a RaidRaptor monster you control is targeted for an attack, you can banish this card from your hand to destroy the attacking monster. This is really good to have because your Ultimate Falcon, one of its only weaknesses is being destroyed by battle, and unless they're using Utopia the Lightning, where you can't activate card effects, this is going to stop pretty much anything. Pain Lanius, this cannot be used as Ixie material except for the summon of a winged beast monster, so it's a little restrictive, but you can still make Castell with it. This card's effect is if it's in your hand, you can target a RaidRaptor you control that has a level, take damage equal to its attack or defense, whichever one is lower, and then special summon this card, and this card's level becomes the same as the level of that monster. So it'll help you do more rank 4s, because you could target your Tribute Lanius and only take 400, you could target your Fuzzy and only take 500. I mean, you could still use it with these ones, you're just going to be taking more damage. In addition, this works well with this Swallow's Nest. This is Tribute 1 face-up Winged Beast monster, special summon a Winged Beast from your deck that has the same level in the Tributed monster. Obviously, you can use this with your level 4s. If you start with like a Mimicry, you can tag it out and then use its effect while it's in the graveyard. But if you use it on Pain Lanius, assuming you didn't special summon it with its effect, you can trade it out for Last Strix. And like I said, Last Strix is going to let you go into your Ultimate Falcon or your 7 Sins. Speaking of him, the other effect he has that's not as important but still comes up, if a RaidRaptor monster you control battles while you have any spell cards on your field or in your graveyard, during damage calculation, you can special summon this from your hand and gain 100 life points for every spell trap card you control or in your graveyard. So the life point gain isn't that important. The important part is if you make a monster and you can attack into a defense position thing, you could special summon this from your hand, even if you've already made a bunch of plays, and then go into your Ultimate Falcon or your 7 Sins during your main phase 2. As for our spells, we're playing Allure of Darkness, draw 2 cards, banish a dark monster from your hand. We're playing all dark, so it's not too difficult to do. Rank Up Magic, I already explained. Cattle Call, I already explained. Swallow's Nest. RaidRaptor's Nest. If you control 2 or more RaidRaptors, you can add 1 RaidRaptor from your deck or your graveyard to your hand, but you can only use this effect once per turn. This will not only let you search and deck thin, but if you go into a grind game, this can help you put some of your Ultimate Falcons or your 4 Strix back into the extra deck, since it allows you to add cards from your graveyard to your hand as well. We're playing 2 of the Raptor's Mace. You can equip to a RaidRaptor, gains 1000 attack, and when the equipped monster is attacked by a monster with higher attack, you can add 1 Rank Up Magic from your deck to your hand. So this is mostly just a little bit of search power for Skip Force, and this might be a little bit slow, but it has some other added utility. You can of course add it with Tribute Lanius to get a 2800 attack point monster, or you can just equip it to your 4 Strix, since it only has 100 attack, and usually you're going to be summoning it in defense mode anyway. They might attack over it, and then when they attack it, you get to add Skip Force to your hand. Or you can always put a monster in attack mode with it, and then use Booster Strix to defend it. You'll still get the search effect. Finally, the last bit of stall is Icarus attack, tribute a winged beast, then target 2 cards on the field and destroy them. We're playing almost exclusively winged beasts, and you can always special summon a lot of them onto the field. Oftentimes what happens is I'll make Ultimate Falcon and then just put a Fuzzy Lanius on the field in defense position with the Icarus attack. So if they try to go into something like Utopia the Lightning that can get over it, you can just tribute the Lanius, destroy 2 cards, and Lanius will let you search out another copy of it for next turn. This is really where the stun aspect of this deck comes into play. You can get to this pretty quickly because you search through your deck so rapidly, and just having that little bit of destruction that can target anything on the field and destroy it is really going to help you deal with the few things that can get over Ultimate Falcon, except for the Kaijus. And this brings us to the alternate version of this deck. Originally I made an Ultimate Falcon Turbo, and its whole point was just to get out Ultimate Falcon as fast as possible first turn, and it worked pretty well as far as getting it out first turn. The problem is there's enough things that get over Ultimate Falcon that just making it first turn usually isn't enough. And in order to do that, I had to take out things like Icarus Attack and the Mace, and even the booster Strix, because they were slowing it down too much. You really need to go as fast as possible. But if you wanted to make that deck, what I would say is take out those 6 cards, the 3 Icarus Attack, the 3 booster Strix, and the 2 Mace, and replace them with 3 Into the Void, 3 Left Arm Offering, and 2 Massive Restrict. This will neither players contribute cards. That'll save your Ultimate Falcon from being tributed but for like a Kaiju summon. If you can get this in your opening hand, you're pretty set. There's not much that's going to be able to get over you, and you're going to be able to make this so consistently that it won't matter. But if you don't get this in your hand, you're pretty much screwed. And unfortunately, you can't put more stuff to search in here without bogging the deck down even more. But if you wanted to just go for Ultimate Falcon Turbo, that's how you do it. That's what this side deck is set up for mostly. The only other things in here are just an alternate options. Against certain decks, Twin Twisters can be better than Icarus Attack if you're playing against Pendulums, for instance. This can be a little bit easier to activate. Mask of Restrict is also good, just in general. Maybe get rid of your Icarus Attacks if they're playing a Kaiju deck that you don't need to disrupt. Maybe even your Spears if the attack if it's going to be too slow. This can just be a good side deck card. The last 3 in here are just sort of alternate options. Diamond Direwolf works pretty good with this deck because its effect can be used on winged beasts, so it's not that difficult to summon it and then summon like a Pain Lanius or something onto the field, and you can destroy the Pain Lanius and another card. You don't have to get rid of Diamond Direwolf to use its effect. And the other thing I was running in here that didn't quite make the cut, but if you wanted to make this more toolbox, less of an Ultimate Falcon Turbo, we've got this Double Doom Force. This is target a RaidRaptor Ixie in your graveyard that was destroyed by battle and sent there this turn. Special summon it, and then special summon from your extra deck 1 monster that is twice the rank of that monster. So what's good about this is you can use it with your 4 Strix to get a lot of your rank 8 monsters out. In particular, you can actually summon Satellite Cannon Falcon. The deck as is doesn't have any way to summon it where it will actually get its effects, but Double Doom Force will allow you to do this. And this is a pretty nice card, 3,000 attack. You can destroy all spell and trap cards your opponent controls, and they can't activate cards in response to this. And during either player's turn, you can target 1 face-up monster and make it lose 800 attack for every RaidRaptor in your graveyard, which normally is going to be a lot. You're usually going to reduce them to 0 with something like that. So really good card, but it relies on you playing 4 Strix and either ramming it into something or having it run over while you have this set. But what's really cool about this is it doesn't limit you to just RaidRaptor monsters. It's any rank 8 Ixie monster, so you can use this to get out like Zombie Stein during your opponent's turn, or even DDD King Kali-Yuga, who can also blow up all cards on the field. So it's a nice little tech card if you wanted to be a little bit more tricky, a little more trollsy with this deck, and less of an Ultimate Falcon Turbo. Other than that, there's just a couple other extra deck cards. I have a little bit of a rank 4 toolbox. You can't always make these, but I find oftentimes I'll get close enough that Gaga Cowboy can be good for game. Utopic Future, you could summon this with any 2 Ixie monsters of the same rank. This card cannot be destroyed by battle. Neither players take any damage from attacks involving it. And at the end of the damage step, if you battled an opponent's monster, you could take control of that monster until the end of the battle phase. And if this card would be destroyed, you can detach. So pretty good card overall, and because you can make 2 Force Strix pretty easily, you can then Ixie summon them together to make Utopic Future and steal your opponent's monsters for big games. Rise Falcon I rarely make because it's 3 level 4 Winged Beast monsters, but you can make that pretty easily. This card can attack all special summoned monsters your opponent controls once each, and once per turn you can detach 1 material, target a face-up special summoned monster. This card gains attack equal to that monster's current attack. So it already has 100, so if your opponent gets something like a Blue Eyes out, you can then go to 3,100 and not only attack over it, but every other monster they have. And that attack stays and it stacks. So if this survives another turn and they get another special summoned monster out, you can then add that monster's attack onto this and just keep getting bigger. And then finally, Revolution Falcon. This is 2,000 attack, usually 3 level 6 Winged Beasts, but we don't do that. We mostly use this if you have 4 Strix and you have Skip Force and you really can't make your Ultimate Falcon. You can make one of this because it's 2 ranks higher than level 4. This is detach 1 material from this card. This turn, this card can attack all monsters your opponent controls once each, and at the start of the damage step, all face-up special summoned monsters this card attacks, their attack and defense becomes 0. So this can OTK on its own if your opponent swarms with stuff and they don't have anything to stop it. It also, once per turn, you can target a monster your opponent controls, destroy it, and inflict damage equal to half of its attack. So this thing's pretty good. It's just normally they're going to stop it with some effects. It has no real protection. But if they got no spell traps, no quick effects, and a field full of like 3 or 4 monsters, this can easily OTK. So there you go, there's your deck profile for this week. Technically 2 deck profiles, depending on how you want to look at it. Hopefully I did the RaidRaptor some justice. Next week I'll be taking a look back at an older deck I did, good old King Tiger Stun, and seeing if I can make a 2017 version. Until then, good luck, have fun.